you do not point those barbaric weapons at me. After all, I know that Leo wishes to keep the child in my womb alive. Or do you value honor so little, Mandalorian? Wouldn't be a surprise, considering you are more than willing to use poison and chemicals to accomplish your means. Do you really think I'm so blind as to not be aware of you conversing with my child? The child of Anorath, as I assumed he has already informed you of. His very seed was placed within my womb, a child that will be birthed as a strong female male abyss that will lead her race to a new era. An era under my guidance. I must admit, your actions continue to impress me. Many of the machinations I have seeded within the system of 1,000 moons from the past orbital cycles have unraveled from your meddling, preventing the corruption of Bendor and its veins of life, curing the mandris of the sickness of 1,000 souls. And now you have crippled the ultimate weapon of the male abyss, of which to put the infantile government out of its misery. Yet, many of the designs I have planted will continue undaunted, despite your best efforts. Iego and its people will be doomed to subjugation like many others in this new, brave galaxy that awaits them. They may accept them with open arms at first, but clasped closely behind their backs is a set of chains and manacles awaiting new slaves to enact their wills upon. How unbearably short-sighted you are, considering I was underneath your very noses in plain sight. I must thank you, Koji-chan. I would never have imagined such a worthless coin made of plastic would gain such traction, especially amongst the higher echelons of the infantile government. This will set their economy back by stellar cycles, and it was all thanks to poor, worthless Cassidy. Just like the Phoenix, you are so easily manipulated. In my 200 cycles of exploring the greater galaxy, I have found many more cultures that follow the spirits in fundamentally different ways. The pacifist aspects of foresight amongst the Barrender sages, the inquisitive yet misguided blackguard, the stubborn and dying Zayugi dervish, and even the isolationist yet benign Jason Shaw have their futures defined for them by the spirits. Then, not so long ago, I came across the legendary planet of 1,000 moons. A planet that lacked a sun, but regardless was covered in eternal light. The home of angels and demons already in discord from your actions of allowing outsiders to tread on their borders, but still remained faithful to the so-called Shepherds. I may have left them be, but I needed to see Iego's future. I needed to see if the spirits had a grand design for them. And what I saw was nothing. Much like the void between galaxies, their future is clouded, an unpredictable anomaly of the cosmos. The spirits spirits are still determining what place Iego has in their grand plan, whether they prospered or perished. A culture has shrines, icons that they believe bring them closer to their particular pantheon. Take away their place of worship, and they will lose their connection, but more importantly, their faith. Take away their worthless temples and simulacrums, they become nothing in the eyes of the spirits. Nothing but the empty shell of a once proud and graceful race. A shaman without wisdom, a mother without children, a warrior without a cause, empty, meritless, abandoned. I am aware that it takes more than destroying the sacred sites to destroy a culture. They need to be subjugated in order for their original cultural beliefs to be abandoned and adapted to another society's needs. They may still be diatham and malibus, but can they truly be called that after all traces of their civilization fade away? The legendary angels told in the tales of wayward smugglers, now one of countless sentients living on a backwater planet, huffing spies behind a dark alley. A shell of their former self, left with no cultural identity, becoming the vermin they were always destined to be. Oh, you believe you are the only ones in the galaxy that know tragedy. You may have lost friends, family, even an entire planet. But I have lost everything. Many seasons ago, I was once from a clan that roamed the plains of Dathomir. Rival clans knew us as the Night Locusts. However, instead of being vicious warriors that prowled within the shadows like most would assume, we were humble healers that traveled across the lands while living off the resources the spirits so graciously gave to us. In return, we offered our talents to any we came across, as acts of devotion to the spirits that protect us. I once had 2 beautiful girls. They were to become the next generation of our clan. We were happy. I was happy. But then the Sisters of the Night, who had always looked on with envy and jealousy, struck at our most vulnerable. They ambushed us while we slept. They struck our wisest first, and then our best warriors. And by the time we had awakened and realized the danger, it was far too late. I watched desperately as my sisters were slaughtered, both old and young. My mind went towards my girls. And despite my best efforts, I was not strong enough to save them, for they were already dead. Both of their throats slit. As the massacre came to an end, the bodies of my sisters covered the forest floor. The foul smell of death and charred flesh filled the air. I stood amongst them, the only survivor. As the dawn broke, I fell to my hands and knees. Sadness overwhelmed me, and I pleaded to the spirits, hoping that I could awake from this torturous nightmare. In a vain attempt to wake and comfort my girls again, the cold, me through the silence and my audible sorrow. I considered ending my life to join my clan in the great beyond. Then the masked stranger arrived. He approached me, telling me that he understands my pain, for he too has lost everything. Friends, family, and his own clan. He was a lost soul like myself, and he gave me purpose. In that instance, everything became clear. The spirits have spread themselves thin, shackled against their will to listen to false worshippers they considered more worthy of their attention than my tribe. They stood by and allowed the innocent to perish needlessly. I will avenge my tribe, and I will bring cosmic balance to all things under the watchful eyes of the spirits. No more will they ignore their neglected children. Each one of you is an aberration, an unforeseen storm amongst clear days, a rogue wave breaking against the seas of fate. Each of your futures remain clouded, uncertain, and fleeting. You all intrigue me, and the sole reason you have come this far. You are all my final trial. The outcome of this confrontation will determine the righteousness of my cause, my purpose. Your death will show my devotion to the spirits. I am the living sorrow of the Night Locusts, their eternal vengeance and deliverer of retribution. I am the bane of false gods. I am the matriarch of the lost.